What's going on, guys? Hello to the Night Special Forces, who dares wins. So it's just a quick Rasial guide today, as requested by Wolf. By no means are these kills going to be optimal. I don't get the fastest kills in the world, however I do get kills. So I'll be going over a little trick which can help you fire off abilities while moving. So you don't stop, your character doesn't stop moving whenever you fire an ability. It helps you very much in the last phase, when you have to constantly keep moving away from Rasial's attacks. And I'll also be going over the setups of how I mitigate most of the damage that you take from him as well. So let's get straight to it. So first things first, I want to go over the little boosts that I use whilst fighting Rasial. So first thing I'll use is I will overload on my Lanternheim incense sticks and I will fire them straight up. So that increases the duration of my overload potions. Then I'm going to overload on my Spirit Weed incense sticks. So that allows my familiar to fire off his ability a lot better. And then I think that's it with regards to the incense sticks. So the familiar I'm going to be using is the Binding Contract Hellhound. As he takes a lot of the damage that gets dealt to you, and then we're going to go ahead and use the Powder Penance, just because we take so much damage that the Powder Penance works really well here. And then we're going to make sure that our God Book is charged, so the Jazz Book is charged there, and then we're going to gear up. So we will run over to these dummies here. Now the thing I want to go over is the nice little trick of moving while attacking. So obviously when you start your fight and whenever, you'll have your conjures, etc. Keybinds are really good for this. So you want to target your target, and while you're moving you want to then you want to move and then click your ability. So you end up moving instead of doing that, what I just did there where I stopped. So if I do that and then do that, I'll stop in my tracks and start using my abilities. Whereas if I'm moving constantly while firing my abilities, you'll notice that I start moving while firing an ability and I don't stand in one place, which is really handy in the Rasial boss fight. So I highly suggest you go and practice this on the training dummies first, simply because it will help you out so much during the boss fight. Okay guys, so the other thing I want to go over real quick is the aura that I'm going to use. So I am going to use the Aegis aura. You can extend this for 30 minutes up to, so it has a maximum of an hour every 5 hours. But I'm going to use this for a bit of damage mitigation for the first kills that you're going to get. If you haven't got the loyalty points to get the Aegis aura, then I suggest either the Vampirism aura or the Penance aura. But I do highly recommend the Aegis aura. If you've got it, use the Margaret aura for more damage. If not, try to focus on getting that Aegis aura. Okay, so Darkness I would usually advise to use, but Rasial has 100% hit chance, so Darkness does not work on him at all. Right now I've got my tier 95 gear. Most of you who fight with him with Necromancy will have this. If you do not have it, I recommend the power armor over the tank armor, simply because the damage buff that you get is so much better. In short, you want to be in the fight for as less as possible, and the more damage you do will make that happen. If you wear the tank armor, in turn you will take more damage because you're in the fight for longer. So you want to mitigate as much damage as you possibly can to begin with, and then you want to do as much damage as you possibly can. Okay, so now we get into the fight. So, first things first, before you enter the fight, I'll always drink your overloads and summon up your conjures. So then we're going to enter the chamber, Rasial boss fight, and start. So I start by running all the way over here, and then invoke death and Living Death, and I put on my prayers. And then we make sure our God book is active, and we just DPS Rasial down. Do not worry about the damage. Do not eat food. You will be fine. If you start to realize your health is going really low, that's when you can eat food. But before then, you want to not eat as much food as possible. So then we just go over our stacks, let them build, and damage him. See the minion spawn? That's a bit of free healing if you use Blood Siphon. The one thing you want to be looking out for with Rasial is his stacks here. So when he builds up to 5 souls, that's when he's going to be a big problem. So we just damage him as much as we can. Remember that he can be stunned. So any stuns that you do does slow him down. So he's about to go up to 5 souls now. So we pray from Necromancy and Devotion. And then we take no damage. Straight back to Soul Split. We Vulnerability Bomb him because we can. So he's about to reap us now, so that's fine. We'll let him jump away from us. And he does it again. So we pray from Necro. Back to Soul Split. Run back past these guys, and you take no damage. And same again. Oh, but we take no damage. And then another Blood Siphon because we've got some minions around us. Same again. Back to Soul Split. And once we get to this point, we want to do our little run trick. And you're just running from either side to the other. And then if we make sure we're at full health, if we pop a Power Burst of Vitality, we can now survive for just that little bit longer and do a bit more damage. Just spending our stacks as we go. I am taking my time in this hill. This is nice and slow. And all I'm doing is just running left to right. Make sure if I need to eat, I do. And just hitting Rasial with all my abilities. And sure enough, he's down. So, that is the Rasial kill. We will go back over now and just identify the little things of what he does, and explain them in a little bit more detail while I'm not doing the kill. Okay, so I just want to point out where I'm stood right by here. So where I'm stood here is a very nice safe spot from the souls that Rasial spawns. Unfortunately, during this kill, he does reap us, and then when he stands too close to you, he does jump away from you. Which in turn then pulls you away from the safe spot, so then you have to run back from the souls. But that's not a massive problem, all you have to do is just run backwards. But I always start right over here, just in that situation that potentially I don't have to move, and I've got that safe spot there. So I start the fight by running over here. Like I explained, I do invoke death and then use my living death. And I just start damaging him, letting Revo use my first 3 abilities, and then just spending the stacks when I can. So if you notice there, he used Finger of Death. It's a higher damage move that he uses. It's not a massive issue. Like you see, it did 2.4k there to me. But again, his moves are very much telegraphed. They're very obvious what he's doing. They're the same animations for your own necromancy abilities, so it's quite nice and quite easy to see what he's doing. Finger of Death again there. So all I'm doing is obviously I'm just spending my stacks, getting that damage in. So he just said, rise my minions. That literally just means that he spawns 2 minions around you. So if you have a look over here, and oh, hang on a minute. What have I done here? That's what I was looking for. So these pillars that he's just spawned, do not worry about them. What they do, if you see their little ability bar by here, when that's full, they generate a stack of souls for Rasial. There's 2. There's one by here, and there's another one further down over here. If you kill one during his next set of damage, he will spawn another 2. So just leave them as they are, and all you've got to do is just protect from necromancy whenever he fires off his volley of souls. So again, the fight just carries on. Suffer at my hand. Again, that's just a Finger of Death. As you see, that a bar now has just gone full, and they've just given him 2 souls. So all of a sudden he's gone up to 4 souls now. Rise my minions. So again, more minions just spawned in. Still not taking a great deal of damage. And we're just eating every now and then. So he's now up to 5 souls, and he will shout, "This is true power." When he shouts that, he is about to unleash volley of souls. All you need to do to mitigate this damage is, as I'm about to do here, is pray from necromancy and use devotion. If you don't have devotion, or if it's on cooldown, use debilitate or reflect, or just simply stick to deflect from necromancy. That's more than enough. Just make sure that your health is at least 5,000, otherwise you probably will die from the attack. So here he goes, and devotion just clears all that damage. Okay, so now he does his reap attack. So he will jump towards you, stun you, and he says, "I will reap your soul." And all he does is he just uses the Spectral Scythe ability. No biggie. The only thing about this move is the fact that when you are stood too close to Rasial, he will jump away from you. When he does this, he then pulls you away from your safe spot, basically, which is what happens to me in this video. Not a massive issue, but it's a little bit of a pain, just because then you've got to now knowingly avoid his next mechanics. So here he jumps away from me, but he does have his volley of souls ready, so he uses that first. He prioritizes volley of souls. So this is the Join Us in Death. So this is where he will spawn his ghosts. When they're spawning, if you just run past them, you won't take any damage. There's a little bit of a window where they don't do any damage to you when they're when they're visible. All you've got to do, like I say, is just run straight past them, and you will not take any damages from them. Here we actually get both of them in one go, so I do exactly the same thing. As you can see, I was a little bit late there running back, but I still took no damage. That's the amount of time you have to just run straight past them and take no damage from them. And then after that, it just goes straight back to the next, to damaging Rasial. So once we get him down to 200,000 life points, which we are nearly there. Once he's at 200,000 life points, he will, unfortunately, we've got another volley of souls there, but that's fine. So yeah, so he's just gone past 200,000 life points, and now he'll jump up here for the last phase. And all he does is he sends these little, let's see if we can find them here. He sends these little like black voids on the floor. And that's just really heavy hitting necrotic power that Rasial uses. And he just fires them over and over again on the floor. And if you get hit by them, you take about 2,000 damage. So we're just going to use the little walk trick that we discussed at the beginning of the video to just avoid them as much as we possibly can, running back and forth from left to right. And while we're doing it, we're manually triggering our abilities, because Revolution won't work when you're running. You have to be stood stationary for Revolution to take over. So, like I say, we are just running back and forth, and damaging Rasial. And that is about it. That's all the mechanics you have to learn to deal with. The main problem with Rasial is, like I say, he does hit very, very hard and very heavy. And that is his main deal. But the quicker that you get him down, the less damage in turn you will take. So guys, that's my Rasial guide. Thank you very much for watching. If you guys need any other help with any other bosses, or any other content in RuneScape, please feel free to ask. Message me in-game or on the clan Discord. I've got no issues with doing any guides or anything with you guys. Anything you're not sure of in the guide that I've just gone over, please again feel free to ask. Yeah, so thank you very much, guys. And if I could ask you to, if you wouldn't mind either leaving a like on the video and subscribing, as I do link these through my YouTube, it would just help me out a little bit. So yeah, once again, guys, thank you very much for watching. Who dares wins. Thank you very much.